I never thought I'd be the kind of person to write something like this, but the truth is sitting inside me like a stone I can't swallow, and I need to get it out somewhere. Maybe it's guilt, maybe it's grief, maybe it's just disbelief at how fast a family can turn on you when money is involved. All I know is I feel like my life has been shredded into two halves, the time before the will reading and everything after. For context, I was very close to my grandma. Closer than anyone else in the family, really. She practically raised me when my parents were too busy with work or their endless arguments. She lived in the house down the street from ours, and I spent countless nights at her place, eating ice cream at the kitchen counter, watching old black and white movies, and listening to her tell stories about her childhood. She was the only person who made me feel seen, like my feelings mattered. My parents were always about appearances, about status, about what will people think, but Grandma cared about me as a person. She wasn't flashy about her money. To be honest, I didn't even realize she was wealthy until I was a teenager. She lived in a modest house, wore simple clothes, and drove the same Toyota for 15 years. But behind that frugal lifestyle was a carefully managed set of investments, land, and stocks that had quietly grown into several $1,000,000. I only knew about it because one time when I was 18, she sat me down and told me she wanted me to learn about money, how to save, and how to live independently without greed consuming me. I thought it was just a life lesson. I didn't think it had anything to do with her actual estate plans. Fast forward to when she passed away 2 years ago. She was 92, and while it wasn't unexpected, it still broke me in ways I can't describe. I sat by her hospital bed for 3 nights straight before she went. She held my hand and whispered that she was proud of me, that I had her heart. I cried harder than I ever have in my life when she was gone. My parents, on the other hand, treated her death more like a transaction. They were sad in that obligatory way people are, but there was this undercurrent of anticipation. My dad even joked the night after her funeral. Well, Mom was sitting on quite the nest egg. Guess we'll finally see the fruits of it. That comment made me sick, but I bit my tongue. The will reading was something I will never forget. We all sat in the lawyer's office, me, my parents, and a few distant cousins who were more like strangers than family. My parents were practically vibrating with expectation. My dad had already told me multiple times that he expected Grandma's house to be signed over to him and that, at least half the money, would come their way. He even hinted about what kind of car he wanted to buy. When the lawyer began reading, it started out predictably. A few small sentimental items to cousins, small donations to charities Grandma supported. And then came the part that changed everything. Every single financial asset, every account, every property, all of it was left to me. Not a split, not a share. Every dollar. The room went silent. My mom gasped out loud. My dad's face turned red so quickly, I thought he was going to have a stroke. The lawyer just kept reading like it was any other will, but I could feel the air crackling with disbelief. When it was over, my dad exploded. He slammed his fist on the table and shouted, "This is a mistake. This has to be a mistake." My mom was crying, not from grief, but from rage. She turned to me and said, "What did you do to her? Did you manipulate her?" I just sat there stunned. I couldn't even speak. The lawyer calmly explained that my grandma had been very clear and deliberate. She'd updated her will multiple times over the years, and in every recent version, I was the sole heir. The lawyer even added that she'd been of completely sound mind when she signed it. That night, my parents didn't come home. They stayed at a hotel. When they finally spoke to me again, it wasn't to grieve together or reminisce about Grandma. It was to accuse me of brainwashing her. They said I had poisoned her against them, that I had stolen their inheritance. I kept trying to explain that I hadn't even known the contents of her will, that this was her choice, not mine, but they didn't care. The weeks that followed were a nightmare. They stopped calling me their child. They told relatives I was a thief, that I had taken advantage of a fragile old woman. Family members started giving me the cold shoulder. At first, I thought maybe time would cool things down, that they'd realize I didn't orchestrate this. Instead, they escalated. One morning, I opened my door to find a legal notice shoved into my mailbox. My parents were suing me. They wanted to contest the will, claiming undue influence and lack of capacity. My own parents. That was the climax of it all, the moment my heart shattered completely. Seeing my mom's and dad's names on the plaintiff's side of a lawsuit against me, it's something I still can't wrap my head around. The people who brought me into this world decided money mattered more than having a child. The legal battle was brutal. It dragged out for almost a year. Their lawyers dug into every detail of my relationship with Grandma, every text, every bank record, every casual gift she gave me. I had to sit there while they painted me as some kind of manipulative leech, when the reality was I would have given anything just to have her back. They tried to drag my name through the mud, and I had to watch my extended family pick sides. Most of them quietly sided with my parents. I was alone. In the end, the court upheld the will exactly as it was written. The evidence was clear. Grandma had been sharp as a tack, and she'd left everything to me of her own free will. The judge dismissed their case. Legally, I won. But it didn't feel like a win. My parents cut me off completely after that. They told me I was dead to them. They sold their house and moved across the country, without even telling me. I found out through a cousin. I haven't heard their voices in over a year now. I'm technically a millionaire, but every time I look at my bank account, I feel sick. It doesn't feel like a blessing. It feels like blood money, like the cost of my family. I never asked for this. I would have been fine with nothing. I would have given up every dollar if it meant keeping my parents' love, or at least their respect. But Grandma made her choice, and I guess in her mind, she knew they didn't deserve it. Still, I'm the one left paying the price. I live in a nice apartment now. I donate a lot to causes Grandma cared about because it's the only way I can feel like I'm honoring her. I still work my regular job because I need some sense of normalcy. But the loneliness is crushing. Holidays come and go, and I don't get invited anywhere. Friends don't really understand because from the outside it looks like I'm lucky. They see the money, not the wreckage behind it. Sometimes I wonder if Grandma knew what kind of grenade she was pulling the pin on. Did she realize her decision would destroy whatever fragile relationship I had left with my parents? Or maybe she did, and she wanted me to finally see the truth about them. Either way, I'm left here trying to piece myself back together. I lost my grandmother, my parents, and my extended family all in one blow. And I don't know how to stop feeling like maybe I didn't just inherit money, I inherited a curse.